referenced healthcare reform. We really look at the device tax as really a tax issue, sort of a symptom of an increasingly uncompetitive tax code. The reimbursement environment getting more challenging. So any views that you have on how we can balance this tension and make sure that we are supporting the ecosystem and addressing challenges like the device tax?
Well, I'm well aware of your concerns about the, I think it's 2.3% device tax. And I think you have an argument to make. I think it has to be made within the context of the larger set of issues that have been raised by the ongoing implementation of the Affordable Care Act. And I would hope, and that's why I advocated for it in my remarks, the kind of process that is aimed at problem solving and elicits people of good faith who will come to the table and really work through to the right best outcomes. On the regulatory delays, I believe that the so-called sequesters that were implemented are really beginning to hurt. I think that the cuts to a lot of our regulatory agencies, because it's like, we don't do away with the regulatory agencies or the requirement for regulation, but we handicap the process by diminishing the resources, and that adds burdens to the regulators, and it adds burdens to all of you. The CDC is another example. On the response to Ebola, they're working heroically, but they don't have the resources they used to have. I just think we have to be smarter about this. I mean, we have right now a growing economic advantage in the world. We are doing better. Our growth is the envy of everybody, including the Chinese, who, as you notice, are beginning to have their own challenges. So we are on an upward trajectory, but we're not acting like it. We're not acting like, okay, what are the particular areas that will make us more competitive, grow our economy, raise the standard of living, quality of health? And I think that we have to be much smarter and more sophisticated than just these blunt instruments like, okay, across the board, we're not going to be spending. It doesn't matter whether it affects people's health with an Ebola outbreak or our competitiveness in getting medical devices tested and approved. That's just not smart, and that's not who we should be. And so from my perspective, on the regulatory front, we need to be much more focused on how we have the kind of system that will work effectively and at a more efficient, quicker rate. On the tax itself, again, I think we have to look to see what are the pluses and the minuses that are embodied in a decision about either to remove or alter or continue this particular piece of the Affordable Care Act. And in preparation for coming here, I've obviously looked at the arguments on both sides, and I think we'll gather more information, and that will perhaps give us a better path forward. But I guess my overall point, and it goes to your question, is we are on the cusp of another great economic era. What's happening with oil and gas in our country is unprecedented, or at least not since 40 or 50 years ago. Have we had the capacity to be a major exporter of both oil and gas with all the advantages that will give us? What's happening or could happen with clean energy will put people to work, will provide all kinds of new economic activity. If we got serious about infrastructure, again, we would help employ more people. We'd have the kind of economic advancements that go along with improved infrastructure, on and on. So I just think we have to get out of the ideological wars that either we can't change anything or we have to change everything, and begin to be smart and pragmatic problem solvers again. And I think that goes to your point. I don't know what the right answer about the tax is.